Hello and welcome to today's Experience Network webinar with Rezdy. Today's presentation is part of a series of marketing webinars created for U.S. Travel Association's Experience Network. Representing a diverse range of attraction sector organizations, the Experience Network engages and galvanizes its members. The Council serves as a champion for U.S. travel efforts to educate, advocate, and connect its members and the industry at large. The U.S. Travel Experience Network provides members with educational programming, networking opportunities, and advocacy leverage, ensuring the travel industry is recognized as a vital economic driver with local, state, and federal officials. For more information about U.S. Travel's Experience Network, visit www.ustravel.org. Following today's webinar, the recording and presentation slides will be available on the Experience Network webpage. Now, I turn it over to Head of Sales for North America for Rezdy, Bob Gilbert, to introduce Rezdy and our presenter for today, Simon Lenoir. Over to you, Bob.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the webinar. First, a brief commercial, and let me tell you about Rezdy. Rezdy is the world's #1 provider of reservation, global distribution, and online channel management solutions to over 5,000 customers in 88 countries, and we process over $1.2 billion in tour activity and attraction bookings per year. Rezdy has the most robust, scalable, easy-to-manage, cloud-based reservation platform in the industry. We serve small to large, from a two-man fly fishing outfit in Montana to the Sydney Opera House. On Rezdy's distribution side, think of Rezdy like a GDS, and like a GDS, we are as neutral as Switzerland. We provide a seamless gateway to multiple distribution channels and thousands of travel producers, tour operators, agents, OTAs, such as Expedia, Viator, Get Your Guide, Tours for Fun, and many, many more. This enables suppliers to easily access more customers and get more bookings. Now, with our unique channel manager, Rezdy's customers can also control what inventory is pushed through these channels and set the relevant commissions and terms all in real time. So, commercial over. And I'm going to just give a little bit of background to Simon Lenoir, the founder and CEO of Rezdy. Simon's years as a tour operator and tour and activity software developer have made him one of the most trusted and knowledgeable voices in the travel tech arena. Simon knows the industry inside and out, and from both sides, and is passionate about sharing knowledge in an informative manner that is backed up by data. His infectious energy and passion has led Rezdy's rapid growth and transformation into a global player and a trusted brand in today's travel and tourism market. His observations on trends, data, and innovation are frequently featured in publications and presented at various industry events such as Travel Tech and Expedia summits. Now, a little-known fact is that he helped rebuild a dive operation in Thailand after the devastating tsunami of 2004. So we've seen it all. So without further ado, let me introduce Simon Lenoir. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Bob, for that. Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to be here today. I'm actually on the other side of the world in Sydney, Australia. It's very early for me today. Very happy to be sharing some information, some data with you. To start with, today we're going to try to define the industry in a nutshell, and I'm going to give a brief overview of what we will be talking about today, but also what we will not be talking about. Make some statement about the industry, and most importantly, we will share a lot of data with you. So today, I hope you're ready to take some notes, because we will share a lot of information, a lot of data. We definitely love data at Rezdy, so we will be sharing some trends with you. Okay, so what industry will we be talking about today? It's a very large industry we're working in, obviously. What today we will be focusing on is exclusively the tour and activities and attraction industry. So we will let the event like sport events and the ground transportation on the side, including shuttle. We have some ferries company that we will share information with, but mostly today it's about tours and activities and attractions. Okay, so quick state of the industry. So we believe there's the tours and activity industry, unlike hotels, airline, etc., is a little bit left behind. So today we would like to talk to you about that and the reason why we think the tours and activity have been left behind, a little bit like the men on this picture. Quick story here about another industry, and I'm going to do quite a lot of comparison today between the hotel industry and tours and activity industry. It's really a timeline of what happened over the past 2 or 3 decades in the hotel industry. So in the 90s, the online travel agencies start to take off. Expedia in 96, Hotel Club 98, Last Minute as well, What If on this part of the world in 99 on the part of Expedia. And they were starting to take reservation on the phone and fax a confirmation. I'm sure a lot of you remember these days. Thing is, more and more, so the OTA start to take some significant market share for hotel distribution. And they build back-end system or extranet, sometimes it could be called, where the hotel will have to log into the back-end of the online travel agency and load the availability, and do that on a daily basis because obviously inventory and availability is very volatile. So they start to build their own system and being able to, thanks to that, being able to confirm in real time to the customer. So now in the early 2000, when you will book on an OTA website, they will be able to give you an instant confirmation, and the market extremely quickly adopts that, very, very quickly. Now nobody could imagine spending money on an airline's ticket or on a hotel room and not have an instant confirmation. So in the mid-2000, various companies, including SiteMinder, that we know pretty well at Rezdy, started to build channel manager. And a channel manager is simply an interface where a hotel can upload the inventory in one place, and that will broadcast this to all the OTA's websites instantly and in real time. Yeah, so this story took kind of a bit of time, obviously, to develop the technology for the hotel. And tour and activity this is exactly what is happening right now for our industry. So that also proves that the market, the consumer, your customers, are really, really happy to move from subject to confirmation. So thank you for booking. We will get back to you tomorrow. Or please call to book, see if you want an instant answer, to real-time confirmation, online booking. I pay, I guarantee to have my seat on my boat or my ticket to the attraction. So in a nutshell, that's what a channel manager does. On the left-hand side, you have what we call the suppliers software. So it could be in the middle Rezdy booking software, which is very well suited for small to medium businesses. But we also connect our channel manager with third-party booking software, commercial booking software that some of you use, that are more suited for attraction, that are more suited for custom-made, high-end ferry, etc., or shuttle companies. And we also connect with some proprietary booking software. So some of you have built in-house for various reasons. You have very, very unique business needs, and you've built over the years your own proprietary system, and you maintain that today. So that's also something that a channel manager such as Rezdy can connect to. And on the right-hand side, we have the distribution channels, the intermediaries. And there's a huge amount. The online travel agency is just one of the famous one, but there's a lot of type of businesses basically that can plug into this. Some of them, just as a disclaimer, are not yet in the party, such as the three big GDS, so the Amadeus Cyber Travel Port of the world. They're not quite there yet. but this is where this is going basically. So you have travel agent, the DMOs, obviously, inventory operators, you name it. So all these different type of business use all different type of technology, and that's what a channel manager bring to the market, the ability to connect with hundreds and hundreds, and for that matter, thousands of different platforms and intermediaries. Okay, so that's a brief introduction of what is a channel manager, and now I'm going to share data with you. So first of all, our industry is highly fragmented. We know that very well. A lot of market research institutes talk about that. TripAdvisor is 700,000 attraction and experiences, and there's obviously a multitude of segments. As a matter of fact, that's some of the categories that we have on Rezdy: bicycle, helicopter tour, kayaking, you name it. But on Rezdy, we have more than 200 type of categories, type of businesses. And why is that a problem for the industry? It's because hotels are fairly similar type of product. You might have a single, double room. You might have a free internet or free breakfast included. But the hotel industry is one big industry. For us, Zipline in Nevada might not consider themselves to be in the same industry as a whale watching in Australia or as a wine tour in France. They don't really feel that they belong to the same industry. So here is a quick comparison between hotel and tours and activities. Hotel Combined, a meta search website similar to Trivago, lists about 1 million hotels on their website. At Rezdy, we believe there's at least 2 million tours and activity suppliers. The big attraction, the big names, but there's also, you know, the walking tours, etc., etc. The very long tail, small businesses, very fragmented industry. And another reason why we feel like the tours and activity is left behind, it's but small businesses. It's an industry that is highly dominated by small business today. 1 of 3 tours and activity suppliers have less than $250,000 of turnover per year. Okay, and it's also a low or no tech industry. 60% of activity supplier report that they spend less than $10,000 of technology per year. That's not a lot to work with for tech companies like Rezdy, and there's no standard as well in the industry. So standard could be, for example, in the hotel industry. Open Travel. Open Travel have been here for years. It was actually created by the airlines back in the days, and were adapted to the hotel industry. So when 2 tech companies, a channel manager and an OTA, for example, work together, talk to each other, they use the same language called Open Travel. That's an example. In the tours and activity industry, there's really nothing. So we've been working closely with a lot of our distribution partners, your agent, your channel, to really set the standard here. And it's still a work in progress. We're not fully done and ready for that. There's still learning and mistake, trial and error that are happening as we speak. Online booking software, there's Capterra, a website that lists technology companies, count at least 290 booking software for hotels. There's 10 to 15 for tours and activity operators, so less choice as well, less companies that are really trying to build software that works for a very unique type of business, which are tours and activity operators. One of the reasons behind that, it's also a lot of hotel booking software try to adapt their technology to tours and activity over the years and totally failed. So there's very few, none that I know, that has been really successful in being a hotel booking software, a PMS, for example, and trying to adapt the technology for tours and activity. It's just 2 different type of business with different needs, different feature, different algorithm behind, different scheduling system, etc., etc. And finally, the channel manager. There's more than 50 channel manager, such as SiteMinder in the hotel industry, and less than 3 in our industry. And another reason why we believe the tours and activity are left behind is because there's not a lot of association. So there is, thanks to US Travel, there's now the Experience Network. Very happy to be here today with you. There's nothing like the AHA LA right now at this stage. So in Australia, we have another one called the AHA. There's nothing really, or there's some emerging, but we're not quite established in our industry. And the last reason is the very obvious one, the inertia. So people don't like changes. That's something that can apply to every single technology change across any industry. So yeah, a quick number here. In terms of inertia, there's 300 OTAs or sort of distribution channel of all sort connected to SiteMinder, and we just use them as example. But yeah, 300 distribution channel. Tours and activity industry, there's about 5 to 10 online travel agencies that are connected to Rezdy with significant volume at this stage. So it's still a long way to go. A lot of online travel agencies are still not selling tours and activity. It's emerging. It's far behind hotel. And commission, so I'm sure this one will make a few of you jump in your seat, but the hotel is sort of standard commission around 15%, 12 to 18, but basically the bulk of the volume will be in the 15% range. Tours and activity at Rezdy is anything between 10 and 35%. We know because we have quite a significant amount of data that I will share in a second with you. So 10 to 35%, it's a really wide range of commission, which again create different sort of confusion in the industry. Okay, so in terms of inertia, I'm sure some of you seen this before. It's the Roger bell curve. That's just to look smart, but basically this is the curve that define the technology adoption, so in 5 stages. That graph, that chart, can be used for anything. It can be used for mobile phone. So let's take the example of the iPhone. The tech enthusiast will be on the left-hand side. The innovator will be the people that wake up at 2 a.m. To go in front of the Apple store when the first iPhone was released. They're the crazy one. The early adopters will come at 8 or 9 a.m. To get a phone, but they're not totally crazy, or they might wait the second week when the shop has refilled the iPhone. Might wait the second week that maybe an update has been released by Apple because the innovator told them that actually that was broken. So they have the version 2 of the iOS, and the early adopter will buy an iPhone here. The pragmatic, the early majority, is where your mass market is when a new technology hits any market. So these people are more pragmatic. They don't really necessarily will spend a lot of money, for example, for an iPhone, but they know an early adopter or an innovator, and they understand that if these people move from a classic phone to a smartphone, such as the iPhone, that's probably good for them. So they will be following, but in the early stage, not necessarily with understanding of why a smartphone is better, but with the strong feeling that, okay, if it's good for my friend that I know is a tech guy, I know he's an early adopter, he tell me it's good, now it's time for me to do it. The conservative or the late majority are sort of the end of the market, and you have your laggers. So we all know one of them, that the people that today still don't have a smartphone. There's one of them in every family. Okay, so now I'm gonna share with you some trends, some data. We're very lucky at Rezdy. We have 5,300 businesses in our database, basically, that are active. A little bit less of that, a little bit less than half of that are tours and activity providers, suppliers, and a bit more than half of that are travel agent, hotel concierge, OTAs, the intermediaries, the distribution channels, across 88 countries. So that gives us quite a lot of data to play with. On the right-hand side, you can see the volume that we process, 1.2 billion per year. It's quite a lot of booking on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, for the 45 minutes of this webinar, Rezdy or customer, Rezdy on behalf of our customer, we will process a bit more than 100K of bookings. So it's not our revenue, it's our customer revenue through the platform, just as an indication. So the reason why I'm explaining that is that Rezdy is in a very lucky position to share some trend and data, because we have more information than any OTAs, we have more information than any suppliers, and more information that quite a lot of OTA combined together actually. So it's a lot of data, and here we are. So first of all, because today it's about the landscape of distribution for the tours and activity industry, I wanted to share, and this is what we're going to do for the next 10-15 minutes, I wanted to share a comparison between 2014 and 2016. So across Rezdy, in 2014, 87% of the bookings were direct to the tours and activity suppliers. I'm just going to say suppliers from now on. Direct to the suppliers, your direct booking. They could be online, they could be over the phone, etc., but they're direct to you. 13% were through distribution channels. The online travel agency is one channel, travel agent, hotel concierge that are pushing brochures, etc., and that grows to 17% in 2 years, basically. So that's a pretty significant jump. This is also far behind the hotel industry. And if we drill down into this 13 or 17% in 2016, we see the different type of businesses sending bookings. So the hotel concierge slightly decreased from 14% to 8%, and we can see very, very clearly that the online travel agencies have been taking significant market share already. So this is in 2016, 44.5% of the 17% are coming from a distribution channel. Other categories haven't changed much. The most significant is the hotel and the travel agent have slightly decreased, and the OTAs have increased. Okay, so here is a few facts about the industry. Last minute bookings. So you probably heard about that quite a lot in different conferences. We surely talk about it quite regularly at Rezdy because we're all about real-time availability. We are basically a real-time engine. We're a big calendar, if you like. So in 2014 compared to 2016, the we call that the book ahead time. That's how far in advance people book. So for example, for the booking more than 2 weeks in advance, that will be your typical multi-day tour. I'm going to Alaska, I'm planning a bit in advance, I want to do a trekking, it's a higher ticket, I plan a little bit more. That hasn't changed much. In the less than 1 week, that might be your local activities, you're already at the destination, that's slightly increased. So let's drill down now to see what happened in this less than 1 week. If we look per day or per hour for that matter, there's a very, very, very clear trend here that the booking less than 24 hour in advance grew from 27 to 32%. Okay, and again, we're talking about, we analyze hundreds of thousands of bookings here. So there is a very clear pattern. The more than 96 hours actually didn't change much. So it's really, really, really the last 24 hours booking that have increased significantly. As a matter of fact, it increased 5% in only 2 years. So there is something here to take away. Your customers are booking more last minute than they used to do only 2 years ago. Okay, so now this is a fact across all the booking, but if we drill down for distribution versus direct versus distributed bookings, In 2014, 17%, sorry, within the 24-hour window, so I'm booking now for something tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. kind of thing, 17% of booking came from distribution channels, from your intermediaries. In 2016, it was only 12%. So the number of people that book in just 24 hours in advance increase. However, your agent, your distribution channel, have decreased the number of bookings they sell in the same time frame, to the exception of the OTAs. So we're gonna talk quite a lot about that. The big loser here, unfortunately, are the hotel and concierge, and the OTAs have grown significantly in the less than 24-hour window, from 5 to 20%. So they quadruple literally in only 2 years the number of bookings they send you in a 24-hour window. And there is a reason for that I'm going to explain in a second. The next sort of angle that we look at our database is mobile versus desktop. Again, it's a well-spoken, you know, I haven't been in a travel tech conference in the last 10 years where we didn't talk about mobile technology. But what does data tell us? What does the booking tell us? Because mobile to attract customers is great, but Rezdy is not a marketing agency. We are about transaction. We are about booking. So we really, where there is an exchange of money and a booking made, this is what our technology is powering. So again, here mobile versus desktop for direct booking, for direct or distributed booking, for all the booking have significantly grown. So in 2014, 27% of all the booking came from mobile device, and that grew to 35%. Very, very clear trend here. And again, this is not a survey. We didn't call 100 people to ask them. This is hundreds of thousands of bookings we analyzed. So Rezdy has been growing significantly over the last couple of years, over the last 5 years, as a matter of fact. But if we compare the same time zone, the same time basically, the same period, from 2014 to 2016, the desktop booking in Rezdy grew about a bit more than 200%. For the same period of time, mobile booking grew 400%. So that's an exponential growth by definition. So the mobile booking are growing exponentially. Okay, and here we go. So the reason why the OTAs have been investing in the mobile app, you've probably seen them. If you have not download them and install that on your phone, I will recommend you to do, because they are very, very good apps, and your customer are booking on that as we speak. So a mobile app allows the OTAs to get the customer wherever they are, book last minute. They're already in the destination. They're having dinner. They want to book now for something to do tomorrow. They want an instant confirmation. So that's one of the reasons why all of our partners, or most of our big partners, and obviously we work with all these OTAs, have been investing quite heavily in very sexy app, very nice apps, mobile apps. Okay, and another angle to talk about today is the value. How much is the average booking? So same comparison here between 2014 and 2016, but this time per dollar. So what is the average value of a transaction in Rezdy, of a booking in Rezdy? Very clearly, the less than $100 tours and activity have significantly grown. So the more than $1,000, that will be my trip in Alaska. That I'm going 10 days trekking. It's a higher price point. Haven't grown so much. In the same time, the less than $100 have grown from 20 to 30%. Significant growth here in the Rezdy database. So if we look into just the less than $100, the direct booking were 91%, with 9% of booking coming for less than $100 coming from agents, and that grows to 13%. So again, in 2014, 9% of booking for less than $100 came from travel agents, OTAs, concierge, DMOs, etc. And now it's 13%. And the winner is obviously the OTAs. So in the same period of time, 2014 to 2016, the travel agent for the less than $100 lost a significant market share. I think that totally makes sense when you think about it. You go to your travel agent for probably a higher end product or longer product, multi-day tours, for example. Not necessarily for your $50 walking tour or your $80 attraction, etc., etc. Okay, so now we will look a little bit more into the data that we have from the US only. The rest was very global across 88 countries. So US it is. On the left-hand side here, we're looking at the worldwide that exclude the US market, and the three columns on the right-hand side are US only. So left it's worldwide, right it's US. The distributed bookings worldwide between 2014 and 2016 grew from 16, then 18 and 21%. So we had a significant growth across Rezdy outside the US basically for booking coming from distribution channels. That also means more bookings for the tour operator that are working with distribution channel. Obviously, it's not only losing direct bookings, but it's literally growing the business. In the US, it's fairly flat. As a matter of fact, it's kind of reduced. And here is the detail per state. So there is some states that are doing better than others, clearly. For example, DC is one of them. So well done US Travel to organize IPW in a couple of weeks over there. It's definitely a destination that is leading in terms of distribution. So there might be different reasons for that. I'm not going to go into details, but yeah, it's a small city. We have a customer that are doing Segway tours, etc., etc. So they really nail the last minute, less than $100 kind of thing that the distribution channels really like and get good at selling. Another one that makes sense is Alaska, but for different reasons. Alaska, you want, as I mentioned earlier, you want to prepare a little bit more in advance. So you're going to go through a travel agent, and you don't want to arrive in Alaska and decide what you do when you're there. You want to plan in advance. So you will most likely use a travel agent to do that. So yeah, there's different states have different level. It's very different across different states. And there's some big states like Florida that in our database are really left behind clearly. So what's coming up? What's next? Where are we looking at? Quick fun fact. So I mentioned earlier we have quite a lot of categories in Rezdy in our database. There's two types of tours and activities in our customer base, basically. Now, the all-time favorites, so the attraction obviously are still doing a lot of volume through Rezdy, as well as the cruise. Yeah, scenic flights, obviously, the helicopter, the airlines, and also the whale watching. Whale watching is a huge all-time favorite in the Rezdy database. As a matter of fact, I'm a scuba diver. We don't really need to put GPS on whales anymore. We can just look at the Rezdy database and see the bookings, so we know when the whales are in California or when they are on the coast of Australia, etc., etc. Because the booking goes through the roof for the whale watching during this month. So seasonality is very clear where the whales are in Rezdy. And there's a rising star. That's our favorites, little businesses that are already rising. Food, there's a clear reason for that. A lot of touristic organization, DMOs or national tourism organization have invested quite a lot in food as a way to promote the country or the destination. And again, we see we are at the transaction level, not at the marketing level in Rezdy, but we see the success for that. Escape room is a very rising star. As a matter of fact, if you heard my pitch at the my presentation in December at the Expedia Partner Conference, we have pretty much every single day there's an escape room joining Rezdy. Asian countries are totally crazy about that. It's a great concept, and it's definitively one of the booming new type of activity out there. And brewery tours as well. There's microbreweries opening everywhere in the world. We should be happy about that. And it's clearly they need a booking software, so we can see also quite a lot of brewery tours joining Rezdy. That's an example of an escape room with the Rezdy team a couple of years ago, in the Sydney team on the right-hand side. So if you're not familiar with the concept, an escape room, you lock for an hour in a room, then you need to use different type of clue or technology to escape the room. And the first team that escape win. Basically, it's pretty good for corporate. Strongly recommend. Good fun. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the innovator, and we're just gonna share some example of people that that have been in our point of view being early adopter, or actually more than early adopter, innovator of technology. So yeah, that's again to remind you. So the innovator are really the people that for the iPhone will be adopting that the first iPhone at any cost at any time. The early adopters are sort of what we have now. This is where we are. So some example are Luna Park here in Sydney. Never really done any distribution before. Never really had time to do it. So now they're selling through the Rezdy Channel Manager. Papillon, most of you will be very familiar with this iconic airline in Vegas, the famous red helicopters. So Papillon is currently working with Rezdy to connect their own bespoke system. It's a very complex, unique need they have, pricing, availability, etc. And they understood very early that by connecting to a channel manager, they have one point to basically one API to the Rezdy Channel Manager to remove the need to connect with everyone else, basically. And another iconic red vehicle, the bus this time, in San Francisco. Roadness Express, so it's a ferry company that takes people in Western Australia from the big island called Australia to a small island called Rottnest. Very same scenario as Papillon. They have their own proprietary system. Took them 20 years to build. Very unique for their own need. And we also connect with other companies that are doing booking software for ferries. But in this case, they have their own system built to our API, and all the bookings are automated now. And finally, a very iconic one, this one, the opera, the Sydney Opera House. So just to give you an example of the different type of businesses that are innovator or early adopters of the channel manager. Okay, so what are these people actually looking for, really? Maybe it's the ability to more efficiently manage the distribution channel, maybe the ability to update the availability, the rates in only one place, and to broadcast that to all the channels, to all the intermediaries instantly. Maybe they just want to expand their reach and increase the number of intermediaries they can work with, because even the larger attraction will have an entire team dedicated to contract with travel agent, etc. But if you don't really give a tool like a CRM for your team to contract with agent, to empower your agent. It's all about empowering your agent to sell you more at the end of the day. So if you don't give your agent tool and your staff that are contracting your agent tools to work more efficiently, they will only be able to your staff or the people who are in charge of contracting will only be able to talk to work with the top tier. You're gonna neglect the long tail. The agent that might send you 5 bookings per month, you don't really want them, but you kind of do. So you don't really want to spend time with them. You don't really want to negotiate too hard with them, but you will love to have these 5 bookings if the true cost of distribution, and if you can take away one thing today, is this one. Always think about the true cost of distribution, because working with, say, an OTA that force you to go into the back end and update the inventory manually every day or every week so their database is up to date, costs you a lot more money than an OTA that is, for example, connected with Rezdy, where you don't have anything to do, and it's all automated, so your staff can focus on bringing more channels, contracting more with distribution agents, etc., etc. So the true cost of distribution is something that very, very few of you think about. And in my humble opinion, and obviously Rezdy is not a wholesaler, we're just a software provider. We provide the tools for you to find your own solution that works for you. We try to build a flexible technology. We're not a wholesaler, so you can do whatever percentage of commission you want. We don't interfere in the contracting. The technology is really here to empower, basically. So if some channels actually cost you more money to work with, I personally believe you should give them less commission. That's a hard one, that's a big one, but that's a fair one as well for the industry, because the true cost of distribution might not be what you think. So empowering your staff to have a CRM such as Rezdy, where they can have all the agents, see all the contract, and make sure the agent has the right rate, the right price, have access to real-time availability so they can book more, and tools to discount and last minute and distress inventory, etc., which is where we're at right now. We're building all these features. We will basically help to grow your bottom line. So here I'm just going to throw words, big words that the hotel industry know very well, but you know, variable pricing, yield management, distress inventory, last minute booking, all these sort of things are now happening for the innovator and the early adopters in the tours and activity industry. So really what we're trying to do here, and what the innovator and the early adopters try to do here, it's to bring the industry up to speed with the hotel and the airline industry. It's as simple as that. We're not inventing anything crazy. We're just trying to get up to speed with the other industries such as hotel and airline. Okay, so when you look into the future, I guess it's your time to ask yourself, where do you want to be? Do you want to be in the train? Do you want to be an innovator or an early adopter? Maybe not. Maybe you want to be pragmatic here, basically, an early majority. It's totally fine. Not everybody will want to be using the first iPhone. I personally didn't. So yeah, pragmatism is good, is okay. There's nothing wrong about that. But basically, you don't want to be left behind. You don't want to be that guy that stay on the dock waving au revoir. All right, that's all for me. So thank you very much. We got a bit of time for Q&A now. And Rezdy will be at IPW in just a few weeks now.
Simon, thank you so much. That was a fantastic presentation. I would like to open it up to questions. So if you do have questions for Simon, please feel free to type them into the question box on your webinar window. To start, Simon, just a question for you. Why do large OTAs work with companies like Rezdy?
Yeah, so very simply, for for various reasons, because mostly to be able to sell more. So online travel agency learn that if they are able to give instant confirmation to their guests, they will sell more. There is some very famous photo of Expedia CEO back in the day smashing fax with literally a baseball bat and broadcasting this to all the staff to say, okay, fax is over, guys. We don't do fax anymore. Now people book in real time. And you know, it seems silly right now, but it was 10, 15 years ago. Now it seems very, very silly to think that back in the day we were still sending fax when people wanted to book with us and spend money with us. But that was not so long ago. 10, 15 years ago is not very long. So the OTAs learned a long time ago, because they dominate clearly the hotel industry, which might be a concern for a lot of you, and I will be happy to talk about that further. But they have about 75% of market share for hotels, and much less, 3, 4, 5% for tours and activities. Yeah, they learned a long time ago via for the hotel booking that their customer want real-time confirmation. So working with a channel manager gives them that, simply.
Thank you, Simon. Now, Terry Larson has a question. Are there any DMOs using Rezdy services?
Not really, no. DMOs are not our customers. We partner with software companies that service them very, very successfully in different parts of the world, and it's something we are doing now in the US, or in the process of doing. So long story short, I'm not going to bring the slide that I had, but the technical ability of a channel manager, it's really to connect with anything. That's how we build Rezdy since day one, which is 6 years ago now, actually, when we started. We really built Rezdy as a channel manager. So Rezdy can work with any software that your travel agent use. Could be a GDS, could be any, Jackrabbit is one of them for DMOs, and there's more option. We're very neutral, we're very platform agnostic, so we will work with anyone that any DMO, any software companies that any DMO want to use, we can connect with.
Thank you, Simon. Excel Brand has a question for you. Can you explain how your integration works? What technologies do each side need, OTA versus venue? Is that integration based on a data export?
No, so it's all real time, and it's via API. It's a long technical conversation, and I'm not gonna wear my IT hats on that today. My background is a software developer before starting Rezdy, so I'm gonna try not to be too technical, but basically it's API. And it's all in real time, so no, there's no click a button to export or re-import a file like an Excel spreadsheet or an XML file. It's all in real time. This is exactly the value that a channel manager such as Rezdy add to the industry. It's when it's connected, it's live. So and let me try to explain a little bit more here. If a tour operator, let's take the example of a whale watching company that have 100 seats on its boat. This company can get a booking on his own website. The Rezdy database will be updated. Someone walk in and want to book for a whale watching in 3 days, the Rezdy database will be updated. Groupon, someone purchase a heavily discounted whale watching on Groupon and book, Rezdy database will be updated. So instantly, say Expedia or any other OTA we work with, we'll know exactly that now there's 3 seats blocked for Tuesday morning and there's 100 seats available, so it's only 97. And there is different features and tools to manage that easily. Expedia send a booking, now there is only 96 seats available for direct booking or for Viator, for example.
Thanks, Simon. And one more question. And folks, if we didn't get to your question, we will forward your questions to today's presenters. and they can follow up with you via email. So no worries, we will get to it. For one last question, Doug Killian asks, what is fueling last-minute bookings?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, sorry. What is fueling last-minute bookings? Is it price discounts at attractions, or what does Rezdy think is causing these last-minute bookings or a rise in these last-minute bookings?
Yeah, okay. So I don't have a perfect answer for that because Rezdy is definitely not a marketing company. We're a tech software company. So the trend that we can see in the booking based on data, not on feeling, is that people are booking more last minute and less than $100 and on mobile device. So the assumption behind that we can take is that I am already in Las Vegas. I am going to dinner with my friend, and they told me, oh, we went to do some indoor skydiving. We had a great time. Let's do that tomorrow. And let's do after the skydiving, let's do a sunset flight over the Grand Canyon. So I'm on my mobile device. I'm just ready to buy because my friend just have a big smile on their face because they had a great day, good fun. So I'm ready to buy. I'm gonna book, confirm, pay, done. So I think that clearly is a trend, and I think the reason is people are just ready to spend small bucks quickly if they can be guaranteed that they're going to have fun the next day, sort of thing. That's, I believe, one. The discount and the pricing policy behind that, I would not have a clear opinion on that, and I will reserve my judgment because every business is different. So some of you, and if I take the whale-watching company example, might want to say, well, if I have only 10 seats left on my boat with 100 passengers tomorrow, I actually want to put the price up because I know I'm going to feel it. I'm going to have walking. If the OTAs want to sell it, it's more expensive. Or the other way around, it's like I already know I'm breaking even when I have, say, 15 people on the boat. I'm just going to make up numbers, but it cost me $1,000 to take the boat out. I know that when I have 40 people, I'm recovering my cost. So after that, it's almost pure margin. The fixed costs are covered. I have only variable cost. I'm going to use a little bit more petrol. I provide tea and coffee for free on the boat. That's going to cost me slightly more money, but I'm pretty much covered with 40 people. So now I'm happy for the last 20 people to have a 20% discount, or because it's pure margin, so I can discount. It's really there's a lot of strategy behind pricing that will take an entire webinar to cover.
Simon and Bob, thank you so much for a fantastic and informative presentation. And thank you to all of our attendees for joining us. Again, we will be sharing this presentation recording and slides following the webinar. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.
Hey, thanks for that, and looking forward to see you in DC.
Sounds great. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you.
Bob.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye now.